Hey, YouTube family, how's everybody doing? Um, I started a series on my personal experience in Vietnam. I already cut two videos, and I explained how I got to Vietnam. Um, I didn't volunteer for it, but I got there because somebody put my name on a list as a practical joke, and then I wound up myself in the jungles of Vietnam. But that's explained my first two videos. I'm up to the part where after I met my unit. This is going to be my first day going out to the field, going out to the jungle. Please like and subscribe. My channel is dedicated to military topics only. So I really appreciate if you could do that for me. Um, so on my very first day, I'm green as can be, brand new green of jungle fatigues, black, shiny, jungle boots, Uh, and you could pick me out in formation. And that guy just got there just by looking at me because my uniform, and everybody else is already the uniform already faded from months in the jungle. And so I met Sergeant Cardoza, a Mexican American out of. I believe he was from Houston, Texas, if I recall correctly. And the reason that's important, I met this individual, a very nice guy, up at AIT, Advanced Individual Training, Fort Polk, Louisiana, Tigerland. That's where they train you to go to Vietnam. And he was the NCIC. He wasn't a drill sergeant. He just graduated from what we call back then the Shake and Bake School, which was located at Fort Benning, Georgia. The premise is that individuals who show leadership ability, usually during advanced individual training, will ask straight out, would you like to be a sergeant in the Army? And the person agreed. They'll send them to Shake and Bake School, we called it, in the 9-week course. But the only stipulation was that you had to then be involved in 2 training cycles, working with the drill sergeants and training troops. And then you had to do a tour in Vietnam in the infantry. So that was the stipulation for that Shake and Bake School. So here I met Sergeant Cardosa. He remembers me and we're talking. He happens to be my assistant team leader. He wasn't a squad leader, but he was assistant team leader. So he says, you know what, Private Rivera, you're going to be the assistant gunner. Now, mind you, I'm weighing 130 pounds, and now I'm the assistant gunner to the machine gun. So that first day he has me 300 rounds of M60 machine gun ammo, and they taught me that you wrap it around your chest like Pancho Villa style. I was given 2 bandoliers of M16 ammo, 18 rounds in each magazine. A total of 14 magazines plus the one in my M16 rifle, which makes 15 magazines of M16 ammo. I was given 2 grenades, a claymore mine, a trip flare, 2 pounds of C4 demolition, at least 5 quarts of water. I was given 3 days supplies of sea rations. Now, the funny thing about it, me being a new guy and newbie, as soon as you gave me 9 boxes of sea rations, the last 3 days, I started stuffing them in my rucksack. Okay? And they all looked at me and said, no, that's not the way you do it. It says, what you do is you open the boxes and you only take what you like. In other words, you don't want to put all that weight in your rucksack. Why carry something you're not going to eat? It makes a lot of sense. And if it is something that you don't like, you could trade with somebody. Maybe they like what you got, and maybe you like what they got. So that was the reasoning behind that. And they taught me to stuff it inside my socks. That way, the cans don't make noise inside the rucksack, which made a lot of sense. I also noticed that OD green sock stuffed with sea rations can make a good weapon. You swing it and make a good club if you need it to be. Now, besides the water, I had my poncho liner, a night shirt, they call it, keep you warm at night. And during the night, Vietnam just gets a little chilly. And only half a poncho, not the full. And I was given what else? A bug juice. That's the insect repellent. Um, Plus your personal items. Toothbrush, toothpaste, shaving stuff. Okay, we used to put that all that personal items in an M60 uh, ammo can. So, so the ruck, me coming out of AIT, I wasn't used to the weight. I mean, to be, I don't know how much you weigh. I don't want to exaggerate here. 60 pounds, 70 pounds. Some guys carried even more than that, 80 pounds and above. Me with a tiny frame of 130 pounds, I couldn't pick up that ruck and put it on my back. I didn't have the upper body strength. I had to sit down, put my arms through the straps, and then somebody would lift me up by pulling my arms. And that's the only way I was able to put that ruck on. And when I did walk with it, I was, in a position where I'll be hunched over like this, because that's how much the weight was, and it was hard for me to get used to in the very beginning. So, like I said, I was the AG. I had my M16. I had a knife, a bayonet. Some of the other guys, besides their individual assigned weapons, it could be the M60, M79, M203 grenade launcher, M16. Some of them carried their own personal weapons. Grease guns, usually tankers would use that. Or my squad leader had a beautiful Thompson machine gun, World War II era. Um, and I mean, it was beautiful. And I wish I had one as a personal souvenir. So that was my first day of orientation of being with the guys, and I'm getting to meet these guys. I'm the new guy, and some of them are introducing themselves to me. Most of them are not. They're ignoring me. Um, I guess they didn't really want to know me, and for whatever reason, maybe they didn't want to get too close. So we were given the orders to move out. We had to walk out to the flight line where we're going to go ahead and meet our choppers. And like I said, that first day I was hovered over like this. I couldn't really walk well, and it was kicking my ass. But the flight line was about maybe, if I remember correctly, almost a mile walk just to get to where we were to the flight line area. So we're waiting on the choppers, and the choppers come in, and we get on the choppers, and we're all sitting on the floor. If you ever see movies of Vietnam, that's how we be transported. There'd be a couple guys in the middle, and at least two guys, sometimes three. Most of the time, just two, because you had to have room for the M60 machine gunner, he was part of the crew chief for the pilot. He had a gun on one side and a gun on the other. And so when we take off, your feet are dangling, almost touching the skid, and it's a scary ride. Believe me, it is way better than any roller coaster ride you ever been on. And this wasn't my first time doing this, because in Pathfinder school, we had to jump out of Huey helicopters, and it was the same concept. We just had our feet dangling, and whoever jumped out of a helicopter that way, that was the best airborne jump that I could think of. I'm pretty sure that a lot of airborne people can agree with you. And even then, Pathfinder School was scared, because it's unnatural for you to be sitting out there like that out in the open. But at least in Pathfinder School, I had the comfort of knowing that I had a parachute, that if I accidentally fell out, the chute was going to open and deploy, and I'll be okay. Not here. No chute. It's just you, your heavy ruck, and most of the time I lean back on my ruck like this to be comfortable. I didn't want to lean forward, because you actually felt the pull of gravity. I don't know if it was in your mind, but I felt it. That if I just inch myself a little bit forward, I was going to fall out. And as a matter of fact, I was kind of scared, because these choppers, when they take off, they go map of the earth. Map of the earth is when they hit they go up and down these mountains real close. And the purpose for that is the enemy don't know exactly which landing site they're going to land on. And they'll fly in and out like this. and you feel like you're going to crash into the mountain, or they'll make a left turn or a right turn, and you're leaning forward. And at one time, I almost panicked, and I grabbed Pancho. Pancho was my the M60 gun, and I was his AG. And I said, Pancho, I'm going to fall out. Another beautiful dude, Mexican American from Bakersfield, California, I still remember. He just looked at me like, hey, don't worry about it, brother. You're not going to fall out, okay? It's almost impossible. You're not going to do that. And he calmed me down. And I looked around at the other guys. They were calm. They were veterans. I was the only green one on the chopper, and they were enjoying the ride. So I relaxed a little bit. And even though the ride was exhilarating, I said to myself, wow, just hang on there. You're going to be okay. These guys are pros. Nothing's going to happen to you. So I calmed down. And then all of a sudden I see these gunships pass by us. Now, mind you, which I didn't tell you, I was on the lead chopper. And the other choppers were tailing us. And I could see, I look a little bit forward, and I could see the gunships, the Cobra gunships move. And I could see them rocketing a hill in the distance. I could see smoke. And I assumed that's going to be our landing site, in which I was correct in my assumption. So here we are, we're coming in, and I notice the guys are getting ready, they're grabbing their weapons, and they're getting ready, and I try to do the same thing, and I try to copy what they're doing. And just before we reach that landing zone, the M60 gunner on my right and the one on the back on the other side, they open up, and the guy is turning that barrel left and right, and he's giving hell to the jungle side. And I'm freaking out because the way he's swinging that 60, I feel like he's going to shoot my legs off, because he's up and down, and he's shooting at the jungle. And I'm saying to myself, what the hell is he shooting at? I'm looking straight ahead, I don't see nothing. And I'm thinking that maybe he sees the enemy and I don't see nothing. But I learned later that was common practice, where you come in on the assumption that you're coming in a hot LZ. A hot LZ means that the enemy's there waiting on you, and they're shooting at you as you're coming in. So he's opening fire just in case there was anybody there waiting on us. So, I'm scared shitless. Anyway, we land, and I see everybody take off towards the jungle, and finally, I get the courage, and I just follow their lead, and I run to the tree line like everybody else, and I'm huffing and puffing because I got this ruck, but I'm scared shitless of what's, this is a reality check. Here I am in the jungles of Vietnam, and I said I didn't feel the weight anymore on my ruck. So the choppers left, and then there was nothing but quiet, and they were all looking towards the front, and everybody was quiet. And I could see the LT looking at his compass and trying to get an orientation of where he was. And I realized that this is my first taste of what it's like to be in an air assault in the jungle, coming in hot with a helicopter. And that was my first experience on my first day. I don't want to run this video any longer. It's already running 13 minutes. I hope I gave a good description of what I felt like. This purpose of this videos is not to go into graphics of a war. We all know what war is. It's nothing but killing, destruction, and people being blown to pieces in some cases. That is not my purpose. My purpose is to basically try to teach you the experience of an infantry soldier and what they go through and the feelings that they have going through this experience. It ain't no difference than my experience might be a little bit different than the Korean War veteran, the World War II veteran, the Iraq veteran, the Afghanistan veteran, but we all have all different things in common. We just maybe use different tactics, maybe different weapons, of course, different environment, different way of doing things as far as your unit's SOP. But to make a long story short, all our experiences are similar, and we all feel fear and the unknown. And that was my first experience coming into I thought in my mind it was a hot landing zone, which wasn't. It was just part of SOP. If you're in the lead bird, that's 60 guys are going to open up, and they do it for your protection and their own protection. Okay, so my heart is racing, and I'm a new guy. I'm 19 years old. Don't know what I got myself into, but here I am. That's my experience. Tomorrow's video, or the next video, I don't know if I'll do it tomorrow. I'll talk about what happened later on that day. Take care, folks. Like and subscribe, and God bless.